My name's Amy. I am a Pilates instructor at the Centered Body Studio in Pleasant Hill, California. And I just want to show you some of my favorite Pilates props that I tend to use in my Zoom classes and in my regular classes. So these are all easy to buy. You can find them on Amazon or various exercise fitness stores. But this first one is called an ab ball. That's sort of the generic term. This one is made by the Franklin Method company. You could also find bender balls or anything that's kind of rubbery and squishy. Has a little bit of give to it. I don't like to blow it up fully, but sometimes I even use it about halfway inflated. This one's kind of a little more than halfway inflated. But let me just show you a couple things you can do with this guy. And I'm not going to show you a whole series of things you can do. You can do a million things with this ball, but some of my favorite uses for it are to support a roll down. And I'm only going to roll about halfway down. I'm going to slide this right behind my tailbone and sacrum, right at the bottom of the spine. And then my feet are going to press into the floor, and I'm going to grab my thighs to give me a little more support. And you're just going to lean back and try to press your lower back and that sacrum into the ball. And that's going to help you activate these lower belly muscles. I'm going to try and keep my upper body relaxed, shoulders are dropped. And just holding this position is a lot of work for the lower belly. I'm trying to relax my thighs and my hip flexors as much as possible. And then you can hold this and you can start adding some arm movements. You can start adding twisting movements. You can put your hands behind your head and try some leg movements. But all the while you're stabilizing and pressing that lower spine into the ball. You don't want to be totally straight here. You want to be a little bit curved forward with that tail slightly curved under. And that's one really good way to exercise the tummy. Another great way is to put it a little farther away. This also helps you stretch out your upper back. And put it right behind your bra line if you're a woman, or kind of between the shoulder blades, or a little bit lower than the middle of the shoulder blades if you're a man. And take your hands and weave them behind your head, supporting your neck. And you're just going to move that thoracic spine. You're not going to move your neck so much. We're going to try to just move from right around here, this pivot point, and then curl forward. And I'm trying to keep my pelvis relatively neutral. So again, my pelvis and my lower back are not moving, just that thoracic spine is moving. Opening up those front ribs as you inhale, and drawing the front ribs back into the back ribs as you exhale. So that's a nice way to target those abs and also to just feel a nice stretch in the spine. And after you do several of those, you can also add twisting to get those obliques. Ooh, I just got a pop. And you can also add pulses, or you can just go to neutral and forward, neutral and forward, or you can go from extension of the spine up to neutral. So if you only want to work one way, or if you just want to play with different possibilities, all of those are going to make you feel those abdominal muscles. It's nice to stretch them out at the end and let your head come back, let your arms open up, and really stretch the chest. Sometimes I'll slide a pillow or a yoga block under someone's head if their neck doesn't want to go far, or if their chest doesn't want to open up that much. You can find variations or modifications for that to make you more comfortable. And then from here, I'm just gonna bring my arms forward and roll up. So there's one more point of support that's really nice using this ball, and that's underneath the pelvis. This ball's a little more inflated than I like to use. I like to deflate it a little bit. But just for saving time purposes, I'm going to keep it inflated. I'm going to lay down and lift the hips and try to slide the ball right underneath my sacrum. And that means it's the bone above your tailbone, but lower than your lumbar spine. So if I put it too high, you can see that my back arches and my tail kind of drops off a cliff. If I put it too low, my tailbone, then my back sinks down and I'm kind of pointing my tail up. And I want to have it in between so that my pelvis is very flat and neutral. And that's a comfortable place for me. You can adjust up or down to make it more comfortable for you. But once you get it there, you're gonna press down like you're trying to squeeze the air out of the ball. And that's gonna really tighten up your core. And then you can stabilize and do marches. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. You can also do this with arms in the air to make it a little more challenging if you want. Ooh, got a little wobbly. So you're trying to minimize the wobble. And then you can also do both legs in the air and tap one toe. So this is a little bit more challenging. And if your toes like to cramp up, you can do it with your feet flexed and just reach a heel down. And we're just trying to stabilize this part of our body and our pelvis. You can also do reaches away, pointed toes or flexed toes. It doesn't really matter what your toes are doing. It really matters what this part of your body is doing. You want to incorporate the breath with your movements. Inhaling and exhaling. And then you can bring one foot down and the other foot down. And you can also play with the movement of the spine here. You can do some pelvic tilts. You can do some bridging, lifting off of that ball and rolling back down. You can try rotating a knee open without falling off the ball. So you have to stabilize here as you move. And then you have to stabilize on this side as you move the other leg. So there's are some great exercises that you can use this ball for. You can also squeeze it between the knees and use that squeeze to help you support your body doing other exercises. So talking about squeezing, I also love the magic circle. And I use the magic circle to squeeze or to press out. So you can go back to that same first exercise that we had the ball behind us, and you can use a little squeeze of the inner thighs to find that curved seat. So you're rolling to the back of your pelvis and squeezing inward. And that again helps you find that scooped out belly, relaxed shoulders. You can start doing abs. This is a little more advanced because you're not having as much support for your lower back. So if that doesn't feel good, then use your support, use that ball. But it's great for finding inner thighs, pelvic floor, and low belly. You can also put this on the outside of the knees and press out as you curve back. And it's a support in a different way, but I feel supported because I've got some extra tension, extra tensile strength going on in those support structures. So once you come all the way down, I'm just going to keep it on the outside of the legs now. And again, bridging with that on the outside of the legs or on the inside of the legs is a really great way to feel either those outer hip muscles, outer glute muscles, or if you switch to the inside, feeling a squeeze and a curl. You can add squeezes at the top. And then rolling back down, releasing the circle at the bottom. I also like the circle for stretching. You can take the toes into the circle and lengthen the back of the leg. You can point and flex the foot. You can point and press down and use it to assist you in a roll up. And then roll back the opposite way. Gotta do both sides, just so I'm balanced. So the circle is very helpful for stretching. You can also use the circle for arms. You can do a lot of squeezing for the arms or on the sides, finding your lats. You can even do your biceps. And if you bring it behind you, you can stretch your chest and kind of work those back muscles. But you can also use it for support as you're doing a mermaid. And come back up. So these are just some ways that you can use your magic circle. There's 1,000,001 ways to use this. There's a lot of good standing exercises as well. But again, just for the sake of time, I want to show you a couple other things. So these balls are called Franklin balls. They've got little like suction cup divots in there, kind of like an octopus. And those are really great for massaging parts of the body that are tight and don't want to let go or release. I like to use it instead of a roller for my IT band and the outer edges of my leg. It's just a little more gentle and it feels like it's doing something rather than just torturing me. Great for the feet. And then also you can put it underneath your pelvis. So you can use it like the rubber ball and put them right next to each other on your sacrum. and do a lot of those stabilizing exercises that we did with the big rubber ball. Gives you it's a little firmer, so it gives you a little bit of release for those muscles back there. But you can also take them wider and put them on that muscly, soft part of your glutes and do some releasing of those glute muscles, especially if you get really tight back there. So letting one knee go open or rolling all of your weight onto it and seeing how that feels. Oh, my glutes are tight today. So I would typically spend a lot more time doing that, but again, just for sake of time, I'm going to show you a couple other things. You can also take these balls behind your shoulders. So I'm putting them right around the tops of my shoulders, where I like to get tense. And you can have your knees bent or straight here, but you can take some arm reaches, getting into those shoulder muscles. You can take the arms out. You can hug your arms around yourself and do a little rocking and letting your head roll side to side. You can also push them a little lower so they're between your shoulder blades and your spine. And you can do that same rocking motion there, or you can take your hands behind your head and do a few little stretches. I'm kind of not really trying to work my abs here. I'm just feeling the release on the balls. I'm going to do some side bends. This feels good. So you can play with those balls. There's no, rules or regulations about how to use them, but just finding what works for your body and what feels good to your body and kind of exploring those tight spots. Let's see, what else might be a good thing to do with these? Doing one glute at a time and kind of working the glute muscle. You can really feel the glute squeeze and then release. And squeeze and release. You can do that with both balls under you as well, but it's nice to do one leg at a time. And what else? I'm gonna come back up. You can do your calf muscles, your hamstrings. Ooh, I like to do my hamstrings sitting on a chair and putting it underneath there. But whatever feels good, just explore to find those tight spots and release them. You can do your pec muscles, either with your hand or up against a wall, kind of pressing into the wall. All right, so those are essential in my book. And another essential piece of equipment, which is usually very inexpensive, and if you're gonna just buy one thing, probably buying a stretchy band is a great idea, because you can do all kinds of resistance training for your arms. You can do, you probably already know a million things that you can do with stretchy bands. You can also help yourself feel your core muscles a little bit, just pulling your imaginary drawstring tighter around your spine, finding those postural muscles to help you lift up. It's great for breathing exercises, trying to breathe into this band and expand your rib cage. And then exhale and find all that contraction as well. Just getting the expansion and the contraction of your diaphragm. I'm also working my shoulders at the same time, even better. You can do things on all fours. Let's see, let's put this around our foot. And the two other ends, let me see if this is long enough. We're gonna go under my hands. Then you can work your leg muscles, your glute muscles. You can bend and straighten. So there's just a million different options that you can use this band for. You can also, one of my favorite things to do is to take it behind my back and give it a little pull apart, pulling the shoulder blades together, and then lifting the arms and lifting the chest. So from the side, that's a really good stretch down the front of the shoulders and getting those back of the shoulders to work. All right, so hopefully that gives you a sense of what you can do with your band. Lastly, the roller is awesome as well. So all of these I find essential, but the roller is really my best friend. I like to use it to roll out my muscles. Also, when I have tight muscles, this is a soft roller I'm using right now. Soft rollers are nice, but I think having a hard roller might be more functional. It depends on your body. But laying on a hard roller is like heaven to me. Just bringing my tail at one end, my head at the other end. I can just lay on it all day long. The soft roller is very nice too. It's just a little more squishy. So you can stretch out your chest. You can just release all the muscles along the spine as you lay on the roller. But you can also use it as another unstable surface to work your stabilizers, as maybe you do some marching, or marching with an arm lifting and lowering. And again, we're trying to keep our spines relatively neutral. And a neutral spine just means that you're not in a flat back, you're not in this uncomfortable position, you're not arching the back and pushing everything out. You're just laying there in a relaxed position with your spine having its natural curves. If your natural curves are a little bit more exaggerated in one way or the other, it might be nice to kind of play with where a neutral position might be so that your tail isn't pointing up or down. It's just pointing straight that way. And your chin and nose are not lifting up or down. They're just pointing at the ceiling. And same thing with the ribs. You don't really want your ribs pushing up or dropping down. You want them to be comfortably neutral. So you have your curves, but not exaggerated curves of your spine. And then you can do whatever you want to stabilize that spine. You can move the arms without wobbling on the roller. You can move the legs without wobbling on the roller. You can do multiple legs. Whatever feels like a good challenge to keep this stable. And then mounting off of the roller and onto the floor is also like the best feeling ever. You can lay down on the floor and feel like there's this big space underneath your back, and it just feels lovely. So the roller is great for a lot of things. I'm going to use it to help me roll up. I'm going to roll it down over my feet and give myself one more stretch. But those are some great Pilates props. So if you're looking to invest in some props for your online classes or for just home practice, those are the ones I would recommend getting. And then of course a mat is also essential. And with Pilates, you don't want to use a yoga mat because they're a little too skinny. And we do a lot of things where we're pressing our bones into the floor, and it's nice to have a little extra thickness to your mat and also kind of an extra stickiness to your mat. So I like these thick ones from Balance Body. So that's all for now. Thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.